Okay, so good evening. The last session, what we have discussed quickly, I'm just recapping that particular part. So it's basically totally cloud computing. So, from the data engineering, why this thing is important. So now this is the questions. And actually nowadays, whatever we are doing, maybe there are migration project. If you're working, you are trying to enter a particular enterprise to work with. So lots of migration project is there. They're trying to move their server, the application from the HDD server to the cloud servers. And the entire application, they want to migrate the thing. So these kind of projects are, lots of projects are there. And whichever the new projects are there, newly architectured, they're trying to build it, especially the ETL part. They're using cloud servers. Even the ETLs are from the, AWS or any other clouds host. Okay. So, all the, components just like data lake, whether we are using any storage, just like S3 bucket, any other glaciers. So this kind of all the storage system, all the data lake, the analytical functions, nowadays, everything has been carry forward from the cloud computing itself. Even I checked from my earlier project, from based on my experience, they are building the chatbot. Okay. So earlier, the entire thing should be built by by the codings and all, but now the components are available there, in particular cloud based vendors in AWS or Azure. You just need to just like adding those particular component, you need to build the pipeline and the thing should be built. So you just have to check from the admin perspective what needs to be configured one after another and everything in the cloud itself. Then the product is ready. So that's why I was able to convey the message that there is IaaS, software as a services, application as a services, so infrastructure as a services. So those kind of stuffs are there. Whichever function you want to take from the cloud, based on the same thing, you need to pay. The thing, and how much time you want to run the thing, to compute the thing, or to store anything, based on how much time, how much capacity you are taking. So based on that only you need to pay to that particular vendor, and it is monthly basis payment, and there is payment calculator as well. How much spends you are doing? The analysis on top of the spends, that is also been shown in some of the apps in the AWS or any other cloud vendors. So as per our session and that particular cloud computational example, we have chosen AWS over here. Okay. So AWS, I think we all have heard on that one, Amazon Workspaces or Amazon Web Services. So those kind of, cloud providers, AWS is, that the foundation of the AWS is nearly 2000. But generally, gradually it's getting increased. The components are getting increased from 2010 or 15 onwards. We can all hear about what is AWS and how much important it is in the market. And the parallel, competitors we are also, aware of that. Microsoft Azure. It's also having the market currently. All the components are very much uh, well-known product as well. Those products we are also using as a separate product, just like Oracle or MySQL. MySQL DB I have installed over here, but the same thing you can access at AWS side. Okay, then we do not have to manage that particular MySQL. The particular cloud provider, that means AWS, will be managing that MySQL. So if a new version needs to be installed or any patching activity we need to done for the MySQL, we do not have to worry on that one if I using the cloud part. So this is the difference. The software, the inbuilt software is also there, but we need to choose what thing will be, we'll be using, whether we can take the servers only, then we can install our required softwares on top of that, or whether we'll be taking a ready-made applications from their side, and we can assembling our product, our applications, and build another new applications. So this is the concept. Actually, what particular things we required from the business perspective, that we need to understand first. After that, I mean, what exactly need to design, and based on the economically part as well, how much cost it is. We need to compare as well. What is the other vendors, what they are providing the same thing or not? What is less? So this kind of parameter we can check and choose one of the cloud vendor and can go accordingly. So by here we are going ahead with AWS. So AWS, if we are just trying to sign in on, this kind of homepage should be coming aws.amazon.com. Okay, so if you are just going to log in for the first time, then you need to register with an account in AWS. So for that one, you can go ahead with that step. It will be asking for the credit card number because it will be, anything is chargeable, it will be automatically charged through the credit card at the end of the month. So that's why you need to be cautious on that one, which particular components you are using, and before using that, check the particular cost management around that particular component. Okay, and otherwise, if you are using it and suppose you are using an EC2, it's not a free tier. So you are using it for a long time, and suddenly you check that you have, some balance has been deducted, but some credit amount is there at your credit card. So this kind of stuffs may have occurred. So be cautious on that one. And we have also some free tier account. So for some amount of days, there are free tier of account. I'll be coming to this thing later in the same session, today's session. So there is some components actually, those are been provided for the beginner of AWS users. So you can quickly check or go through some of the components with opening your free tier account and just check it how many days the free tier account for particular component is for particular days only. There is limitation. Maybe the EC2 server is having less RAM or less hard disks over there. So just check it once and then you can sign up and use it at your own. So when you are able to log in, the login page should just like with this. That should be your particular account by which account you have registered the particular AWS. So this is the particular console. The home page, the first page of that AWS. So when you are logging in to the AWS, you will be going to AWS console. That is called AWS console. Okay. So the console just look like this. I do not have any account with myself as of now. So I will not be able to, go into that particular AWS portal. Later, if we have anything, then we can quickly share with a quick hands-on that one. But I can help you with the screenshot in the PPT so that you can have a basic idea. Till now, any doubt from anyone?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Abhishek, what is instance?
Sorry, I didn't get you, Raj. Can you please a bit louder?
What is instance?
Instance?
Yeah.
You're talking about AWS instance.
Or any instance. Yeah, AWS instance. Yeah.
The instance means for a particular point of time. So there is no such keyword for AWS instance, actually, what I can understand. But what perspective you are? Actually, I didn't get the questions properly.
Okay, so I'm just reading a migration page here, and it says SSRS instances. So what does it mean?
SSRS instances. Can you please come
Yeah.
again the last sentence once more time?
So it says SSRS instances. SQL Server instances.
Report Studio, SQL Server,
Yeah.
Report Studio. Yeah, that I got. So
Yeah.
that particular software instances, you are trying to migrate something, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether this is related to properly AWS or not. So if SSRS, the SQL servers is been installed in one of the SQL server, one of the EC2 server. EC2 is one of the component in AWS account. You can see EC2. And what is
Right.
EC2? I'll be coming EC2 later tomorrow. Deeply of what is the EC2 instances. I think this is the instances you are talking about.
Yeah. EC2 instances. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be coming with details with EC2. Just a small, quick introduction with EC2. It's the server, I mean, this kind of computer server, okay, we can, this is called EC2. That EC2 may be a Linux server or maybe a Windows server. So as SSRS you are going to use, that should be a Windows server. That is a EC2 instance. That means a particular EC2 server only. In that
Okay.
server, SSRS, Microsoft SQL servers is installed, that one is been installed there. And over there, after opening the EC2 server, you can quickly work on that particular SSRS. So just like it's a EC2 machine, a server, a particular server only. That is the instance only, nothing else.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's a separate machine, cloud machine. So you can just like work on that one. MSTSC remote desktop connection. You just have to open that one. Remote desktop. You just have to log in that particular EC2 server. Over there, you can find the SSRS is being installed, and you have to work on top of that one. So this is the concept, but I'm not sure how this has been configured properly at what client or how you are working on that one. This is the normal scenario. Instance means a particular machine only, particular server.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I got it. Okay.
Okay, fine. So this is the console I was talking about. So when you are logging into AWS portal, the console will be coming in this particular picture. All the components, the basic components you can see at the front pages. The analytics service, compute services, blockchain services, satellite. The history means whatever you have used. So these are very popular one, EC2, S3. This one I actually didn't work. IAM, it's identity management. CloudWatch is also important. So those kind of stuffs should be coming over here. Going to the next slide. This is very important. AWS region. So in the console, you can see at the top, this should be coming over here. At the right top corner, you can find the particular region name, because the AWS, I mean, all over the world, there is lots of data center, just like it's kind of data center, not exactly data center. It's, you can see the center only for AWS. So, I mean, you should have to pick up the nearest center located over here at the drop down of region. In the worldwide, you can see it's lots of things, but I mean, the vendor or the particular company where it's located, it will be trying to choose for that particular region, because we need to use the component from that region. So if we are using that thing, I mean, we'll be choosing the nearest one, because the lagging part, suppose we are logging into a EC2 instance, okay, and that particular thing has been hosted in North Virginia. I am locating in India. Mumbai is also a data center over here. I mean, AWS center over here, but we are choosing North Virginia. Then there will be a lagging. I mean, some slowness when I am just accessing the remote desktop. So this is one kind of stuff. So I'll be trying to choose any Asia specific or APAC thing. When you will be trying something, or I mean, whichever company you are working, they will be checking which nearest zone is, I mean, available. Okay. Or a particular region is available. They will be choosing that thing while deploying any particular component or any particular account. So over here, I mean, example, they have chosen North Virginia for their particular project. So that's why, I mean, region is one of the most important. And another topic, so the component cost, okay. So, I mean, a particular EC2 cost for a particular T2 micro EC2. So the component cost may varies based on the region as well. The variance may be very low, but it can vary based on the region. So some region, maybe APAC region, it is high cost. Some cost is higher than that of North America. So this kind of changes we can check before we can use that one. The details of a particular component will be going through later, maybe tomorrow. Today I'll be just going ahead with some basic thing, how the portal looks like and how you can find all the services and all. So just let me cover the high level of the portal and the basic or overall concept of the components. Okay, some of the important components. Actually, there are lots of components. Cannot cover, or anybody does not have the knowledge of all the components. Daily basis, they are launching one new component. Okay, but the main important component, just like EC2, we are all out of that one. S3 bucket. It is called S3 bucket. I mean, this is a storage cap. I mean, there is large storage capacity with very less amount of cost. So this kind of stuff, those are being used, especially all the project or all the application. Those are the common thing. We can quickly go through on that stuffs. Just like some functions for just like AWS Lambda functions, step function. So those are very important. I mean, as we are, computing on top of serverless architecture. So those are playing a key role as of now. We do not have to pay for the server. We just have to pay for the computational power. How much time the query should be debugging or particular Python code should be debugging. So based on that millisecond or particular second, it should be chargeable only. No server charges, nothing should be required. So those kind of, I mean, uh, particular thing has been introduced in AWS. It's not only for AWS, actually all the vendors, but as we are going ahead with AWS, so I'm just highlighting the particular components for AWS only. Okay, so this page is left hand side. There's an option in the console itself. In the left hand side, there is an option for services. This is a services option. You can see services. So if we just go through the services, all kind of services we can see over here, just like analytics, all analytical related services, blockchain related services, cost management, compute, containers, all the things are there. If we click on there, all services, we can see all the things in a single page as well with alphabetical order. Okay. So just I'm trying to go ahead with one by one services. I mean, which are the most important one and all. Before that, there is another searching option over there. This is a searching option. You can also find this thing over here. So if you have any component in your mind, then you can quickly type that thing over here in the searching panel. Then you can quickly find that particular thing. Okay, so the search panel is also very much important. Suppose you have lots of instances, EC2 instances in your single account. Okay, so Raj, this is the, I mean, instances are coming out over here. So suppose uh, you are the owner of that particular account of AWS account, and for variety of application, you launch 5 to 6 EC2. Those are called EC2 instances, different instances. Each of the instance you need to work for a particular software and all. So just like the same project calling EC2 instances, one of the EC2 instance you have installed the Microsoft SQL Server. And so this is the thing actually that time you are asking. So if we just want to check what are the EC2 instances I am having in my account, then we can quickly type EC2 and enter it. Then all the instances will be in front of us over here. Okay. So they have typed root 53. This is one kind of component as well as a router component. We can see it's been used for the network perspective. So they can show us that particular stuff. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. So going to the next topic. It's a high level, just I want to make it interesting one. So this kind of pipeline we can quickly create. Those are all AWS component. So actually that thing could be done by the AWS, I mean the architecture of that particular application. They should have much knowledge on AWS, which are the latest component, and they need to understand which component is being used for that particular thing. I mean, it's maybe more suitable or maybe it's very much cost effective as well. So they need to take the decision which component to be used and which should be placed after what should be placed at what location and all. So just like data sources is the main sources and it's been stored in S3 bucket. Then it's been processed by EMR. EMR is the cluster based analytical tool, we can say. I mean, I have worked on EMR for big data perspective. This Spark, Hadoop is been installed in EMR. So on top of the data, we can analyze that particular data through EMR cluster, and we are storing the record again into S3, okay, in file format. Then on top of S3, we are taking the data in Redshift. Redshift is a database. We can say it's a OLAP database. And on top of that, we can put analytics. I mean, the visualization graphs and all. So those are the thing. Athena is there as well. On top of that one, we can put, I mean, query on top of that S3 bucket over here as well. So this kind of stuff, so we can quickly design. We have to check which is most cost effective and which is, uh, I mean, we need to check as well. I mean, particular component is expired for, I mean, the age of the component may be 3 years. For a EMR cluster, we can just build the EMR cluster for 3 years only. After completion of the 3 hours, that particular thing will be expired. We need to launch another new EMR. So these kind of stuffs are there. So we need to check the aging. I mean, what should be the expirable date for that particular components. So this kind of stuff. So we need to check as well before designing the pipeline, how to use that thing and all. Okay. So just a high level to make it an interesting one. So I just drag that particular components over here. Okay, now I'm going ahead with one. I mean, this is the services I just showed to you. So which services actually we required, we need to choose that thing. And in the particular services, just like analytics services, based on the analytics or based on the calculation, which is the most suitable one, we need to choose. Just like I pull all the analytics services over here. So based on which one we required, just like for interactive analysis, we need Amazon Athena. Big data EMR cluster is there. In EMR, we can use Spark, PySpark. Those can be installed inside EMR. Hadoop is there. Hive is there. So for those are for clustered. I mean, the data actually five. I mean, big data is there. I mean, in EMR clusters, we can introduce master node, core node, task nodes. Core node, I mean, task node is the slave nodes. I think we are all aware that the master node will assign work to core node and core node will divide the thing in slave. And when the work is been completed, actually all the things has been segregated equally I mean, for the variety of slave nodes. And when everything is been completed, the particular task will be submitted again to the masters so that the answer can be reached. Why we are using big data? I mean, for it's like map reducing the thing. I mean, all the things can be reduced and equally divided between components. I mean, those clusters, and that can be more faster. So that's why big data processing is just like processing between lots of clusters. That's all. So EMR will be EMR is having that kind of capacity doing that particular stuffs. Just like if we are just going ahead with Databricks. Actually, I think Jay, you are talking about that you have the experience for on Databricks and all. So if you already gone through Databricks, so it's, I mean, you can see lots of features are same just like for AWS EMR. Okay. So
Yeah,
over there, you
true.
can also do some big data operations over there in Azure Databricks. So each of the services is having its own capability, and which one you need to choose based on which requirement we are having. Just like Amazon Redshift, it's a data warehousing. So just like OLAP we have told earlier, for analytical purpose, we are storing the data in Redshift, and top of Redshift we can build. I mean, data scientist or any data analytics team, they can take directly the data by the query, or maybe a reporting team, they're using Tableau. On top of Redshift, they can fetch the data and just show their reports or charts or visualization graphs, everything. On top of Redshift, they can build the thing on Tableau. So those kind of stuffs are there. Other things are also there, QuickSight, Glue, DataBrew. So based on different requirement, we need to choose what is more accurate. Okay. Going to the next slide, the data lake, storing the data as well. So there, the first thing is AWS S3, AWS Lake Formation. On AWS S3, there AWS S3 Glacier. AWS S3, it's, I mean, very low cost storage thing. Okay. Suppose you are going to store a particular, I mean, a movie set. I mean, the famous movies. They just, I mean, we are trying to make some collections with that movies and all, but our local servers is very much, I mean, very much less capacity we are having. So those things we can move it to cloud. So that cloud thing, maybe Amazon S3. If you have an AWS account, you can quickly spin up a S3 bucket, and everything you can push it there. No need to buy external hard disks for that one. So it's the same kind of cloud. If you are using Google Cloud as well, one or OneDrive, this kind of thing is there in AWS S3. AWS S3 is very low cost. You can see the cost or charges for S3. You can see it's very less. So lots of things you can install. Put it there in S3. So S3 Glacier is also there. So in our application, maybe the old data that is more than 10 years or just like this, those are not been used in analytical purpose or anything, but somehow as per the project requirement, you need to store the thing for any kind of future purpose or maybe any kind of things. So then you can move the S3 bucket data to S3 Glacier. It's again very much, it's lesser capacity, lesser budget or lesser costing is there compatible to S3. So it's just like backupping thing or archiving the thing, you can use that kind of bucket as well. Okay. So there is AWS Glue as well, it's data catalog. So those kind of data lake we can find in AWS. Okay. Then next, compute services. AWS EC2 is there. AWS Lambda is there. So that's like EC2, I already told, it's a computational power. Why? Because it's a server. If we are installing anything on that server, then we can compute the thing. Just like SSRS, you can install the SQL server in a particular EC2 instance, and over there you can work, can host a web application on over there as well. Just like, and the same thing is AWS Lambda, but over there this is a serverless architecture that I told. So whatever code you are writing over there in AWS Lambda, just it will be taking the computational power. The charge should be on top of computational power. How much time it is computed while running the code, while executing the code. So that should be the chargeable one. So those kind of AWS Lambda is there, Fargate is there. There is AWS Steph is there as well. So those are different services for computational purpose. These database services. So just like RDBMS or non-relational databases as well. AWS is, Amazon is providing those kind of stuffs for relational database. We have Aurora, Postgres, MySQL. What we have installed over here, the same thing is being provided from the AWS side as well. Oracle DB. Yes, apart from that, we have DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. So no relational database you can see that should be stored in JSON format or XML format in NoSQL manner. Earlier we have, the first or second classes we have already covered between, the difference between the sources and, the RDBMS and NoSQL. So based on the requirement and the particular effectiveness, we need to choose what things we required over here. Okay. So Elastic Cache, Neptune, those are also non-relational database. Just like we can see there is a graph like graph database, graphical database. Okay. Okay. Now this is the cost management part. Actually, I was saying the same thing. Whatever component you will be choosing, you need to check the cost estimation calculator. So you are choosing a particular EC2 with some 8 GB RAM, lots of hard disks or SSDs been there. So particular thing you need to check what is the estimator, cost estimator on top of that one. So I just pasted a link. Actually, I was checking that one. I was checking a EC2. I need to choose a particular EC2 instance for my application. So there I was checking which one is suitable for me based on the capacity as well as the cost effectiveness. Okay. So just like this, you can find. Okay. So this is a very, very important thing. Quickly check those are the instance name. So Raj, again, it's your question, instance name. So which particular EC2 will be requiring? So those are different name. T4G Nano. it's having 2 CPU. The memory is very less, 0.5 GB. Okay, memory means RAM. Network preference, it's fine. EBS only means it's a storage. Storage means the hard disk, you can say. Over there till now, it's all EBS. I'll be coming later, maybe tomorrow, details of EC2. For who are new for EC2, what is EC2 and how that can be spin up. So you can quickly go through particular EC2 thing tomorrow. But this is the overall thing. Whichever you will be required, how many CPUs, what should be the memory. So that is the particular on-demand, I mean. 0.5. So this is the cost actually, 0.0042 per second. Okay, so if we just go higher RAM or higher memory of RAM, you can see 0.5 G. 5 over here it's 1 GB, 2 GB. The things are getting increased, the cost are getting increased. Okay, we just go to the next second page. P4G medium. So those are all different instances. Whichever you required, you can just choose and save and add your services, and you have to spin up that particular instances. Then the instance will be ready for you. Okay, but the cost will be, you just need to check the cost. What is the on-demand cost? Okay, it's hourly cost. Sorry, I was saying that is for second. So on-demand hourly cost. How much hour you are using that one? If you terminate that one or you can shut down that one instances, then the cost will be not imposing on that one. So it's totally hourly cost, and how much hour you are using, the cost should be, I mean, in this way. Okay. So till this thing, I mean, till this portion, any doubt from your side? Hope no. Okay. Okay. So cost management is a very important part. Going to the next slide. AWS free tier services. So I can quickly show you the thing. Actually, I was discussing the same thing with Jay in last week. So AWS free tier services. Let me search. So AWS actually for the beginner, I just told you, for the beginner of AWS user, they're sharing some free tier services. You can also use if you are going to start it for the beginner. So the capacity for the enterprise one, it's a bit different. It's a miniature thing for enterprises version, but you can use that thing from your own. So what kind of thing? I mean, what is the difference? Just like it's a EC2, particular EC2, they're having free of cost for 750 hours. Okay, for 12 months. If you're opening an account, but not for all the instances. It should be T2 micro or T3 micro. I mean, the particular, OS should be Linux. Okay, RHEL. So, but not for all the instances. It's for T2 micro or T3 micro. We can find from the cost effectiveness what is T2 micro or T3 micro, what is the specification, what is the RAM. It should be very minimum RAM. That's why they are giving it as a free services and all. A storage capacity for S3, it's 5 GB free. Okay. So, I mean, 20,000 get request, put request. Put means we are pushing the data in S3. Get means we are fetching data from S3. So, not more than that. We can use that thing as a free tier. So database, we can, for the Amazon RDS on top of MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, SQL Server, can use free tier services on, I mean, for 12 months or 750 hours. AWS Lambda, 1 million request we can, 1 million execution we can do. So this kind of free tier activities there. Not all the components, just like for EMR, I believe there is no such free tier. It's a very costly services for EMR where we are doing the big data execution. So those kind of costly services we cannot achieve from the EMR, but the thing is, we can just go through the free tier services and we can quickly launch those things if we are using it as a beginner. Okay. Into the next slide. Yeah. So this is very much important. IAM, identity access management. So you can control the access part by this IAM. Suppose you were launched a particular EC2, okay, and you want to provide access for particular users in your application, but you are the root user, but you're going to give particular access for that particular user, but the access may be different. Someone should be having only read access, someone should be having read write access, someone is having the admin privileges as well. They can give access to other persons. So those kind of separate hierarchical access you can provide by this IAM, access management. Okay. So you need to create the groups inside the access management or IAM, identity access management. And for the group, for individual group, there should be one particular IAM. And you just have to give access. You just need to check what group should be having which access. And if anyone is requesting for access, you just have to provide the same thing from the AWS console. You just have to enter IAM and you have to give the particular person that particular access. So basically everything for the access perspective for the other users, other employee who is not the admin one or who is not the root user, you can control their access through this particular component, IAM. So this is also very much important, and every application related to AWS is requiring that IAM component. Okay. If I am having any kind of access or any kind of access to the AWS, then I'll be quickly showing that particular thing. I have to create a particular group based on different hierarchical basis, and we need to give the same access to them as well, to the users. The next topic is on CloudWatch. So that particular is just like statistics collection or how your components are working. The network, the EC2, the packets are going on and out, in and out based on the seconds, because based on that thing, you are chargeable as well. So this is one kind of thing. CloudWatch. Okay. In EC2, what is your CPU utilization? So that you can also see the thing over here. Even in some graphs, you can see your cost management over there. Previous month, what is your expenditure on top of your components? This month, what is your expenditure? So on top of AWS components you are using. So this kind of thing you can see in CloudWatch app. Okay, so they are having suitable graphs based on previous months or previous hour, just like this, which particular things you will be checking. Lots of graphs are there. I just took the screenshot. So CloudWatch is very important app, and this is being used for this purpose only. Till now, any doubt from anyone? We're going to end this chapter very soon. Okay, I hope no. The next topic is VPC and networking. VPC is a virtual private cloud. So suppose if you are launching a particular EC2, okay, that means we are launching a particular EC2 server. It should be Windows. It should be Windows or Linux, anything. But for the EC2, just that particular thing needs to be worked in a particular network. Okay, that can be isolated. We just can work on top of that one. We can close that thing. But if that is being used for some purpose, suppose we are using the SSRS over there, but the SSRS has been used through the cloud. So someone want to track, check the particular dashboard SSRS through portal that should be hosted from that should be hosted from a particular server, but can be viewed from everyone's system. So that should be tagged with a particular IP address, or it should be open to the network. Okay. So that can be done by the VPC, the networking part. VPC is a virtual private cloud, and lots of subnets are being involved with the particular VPCs. Okay. Subnets are consists with the IP4 or IPv6 addresses. Based on which one we required, we just have to provide a particular IP to that particular EC2. So when we are launching or we are spinning up a particular EC2, then we need to tag a particular IP addresses with that one. So here is the VPC's role. So when we are launching a EMR consists of multiple servers. Just like we have core nodes, task nodes, master nodes. So for that thing, we need to tag particular subnets because they should be using range of IP addresses. So that's why VPC is a very important thing. So while launching anything or tagged the thing with the VPC, we need to check the availability of the IP address for that subnets. If there is no IP address available, all the IP address is been tagged with another EC2 instances and all, then no need to use that one. But if we are launching a new thing, we need to check in the network whether there is any such availability in that particular region, any availability of the IPs and or not. So based on that, we need to tag the thing. Okay, there is gateway and endpoints as well. As per the naming convention, you are aware that the subnet is been tagged with, I mean, connected through the another network through the gateways, and there must be endpoints as well. So it's totally networking related stuffs, and those are also been covered in AWS. So this is another thing to, I mean, spinning up a EC2. So those are the things just we covered at the basic stuffs for AWS console perspective and what are the high level components. And tomorrow I'll be just going ahead with some important components, how to spin up the thing with screenshots. I'll be also searching for any particular account if we are having, then we can quickly hands on top of that one. We can build a quick instance and we can uninstall, I mean, we can terminate that instances as well. We can start the instance, an instance has been created for us, our work will be completed and we can close that instance. So for that particular time, we will be having our, I mean, we need to pay to the AWS only. So that kind of stuff we can just quickly go through tomorrow. Quick session on EC2, S3 or any other important components on AWS. Okay. Okay. So anything, any doubt about today's session? Okay. Hopefully no. So let's connect tomorrow with some details thing on some of the topics just like EC2 or S3 or any other components we are having with suitable screenshots and also that the things can be quickly understandable. Okay. Okay then. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Let's connect tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, Saptik. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks.